Like, let me give you a little background. When I went to death row, I mean, just from not being inside, you think that everything was protected. Everybody has bodyguards. Yeah, there were bodyguards, but the nature of people, regular people, aren't to hurt people. Regular people don't kill people. Assassins and people who put hits on people, or people who revenge some wrongdoing to themselves, those people shoot people. People who rob people do things in the dark. You know, they're not they're not doing stuff in broad daylight or whatever. So my point is that we drove around freely. You might see me, Tupac, and Suge driving around in that same Caprice car in L.A. on any given day, you know? And I'm sure Puffy lives the same way wherever he lives. And, like, you know how Tupac's music says we're not hard to find? That's the truest statement ever. If you wanted to get somebody, it wouldn't be that hard. So my point is that those who got killed, somebody wanted them dead. Those who are alive, nobody wanted them dead. That's a fact to me. In my mind, that's how it works. Because it's too easy to get them. It is. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but so you have to ask yourself that question. I know for a fact, well, I don't know for a fact, but I would assume that if Suge wanted Puffy dead, he'd be dead. If Puffy wanted Suge dead, he'd be dead. There's too many cracks in each organization. They're both infiltrated by snitches and police. You know, I mean, that's just the nature of life. So, and when I was watching that documentary, there's a guy, the uncle, supposedly, who was in the car of the shooting. He gives it up so easy. I don't think they tell us why he's giving it up so easy. If you went 20 years or however many years knowing all this information, do they got you for some murders? And what would this make you do with the truth, you know? What do they have on this guy who's suddenly giving it all up and cleaning up the story so beautifully?
This is a Jmix exclusive.
You know, in my mind, if Suge Knight had something to do with Pac, he's my enemy. I can't do anything about it. I can't change it. I can't fix anything. But I love Tupac. You know, if Suge is the one that that defended him, then he's my hero. Let me say at the same time, though, Tupac got Tupac killed. Whether it was reneging on the agreement with Suge Knight or beating up Orlando in a hotel over a chain, you don't do that. Let me say this real fast. People might think it was harsh, and I hope you make it come out right. But my feelings are this way. Interscope Records thought they had squeezed everything out of Tupac. He went to jail, whether that was a setup, which I think it was, or if they just were like, this is too much for us to deal with, they let him go to prison. Here comes Suge Knight. When all these superstars that supposedly had his back, and believe it or not, Madonna was one of the biggest people to have his back. She helped him bail out. Where all these other people who acted like they had Tupac's back didn't do anything. So here comes Suge Knight, and Suge Knight draws on a piece of paper this 6-album record deal or 3-album record deal on a piece of paper. Enter the prison, Clinton Correctional Facility. Enter Suge Knight and David Kenner or whatever lawyers were present, and they draw up something on paper, and Tupac signs it. Well, you're signing two things there. You're signing a business agreement, but you also know that you're signing onto the death row. And you also know that that's pretty much till death do us part, in a certain sense. In other words, if I came and got you out of prison, you better understand what that means to me and you. So when Tupac signed that deal, he knew what he was getting into. And I'm not going to say Suge Knight was right, but I'm going to say he knew he couldn't leave that easy. So I'm not going to say his death was his own fault, but he knew the job was tough when he took it.
Was Tupac planning on leaving Death Row Records?
I had not been in communications with him. I talked to him in the last 6 months. Before he died, I talked to him one time, and that was on the phone, and that conversation was real simple. It was like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm doing all right. How you doing? Good. Everything all right with your fam? Yep. Everything all right with your fam? Yep. It was lackluster. It was no bubble. As opposed to when he first got out of jail. Kendrick, what's up, man? Get down here. Blah, 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 blah. It was like really dry, and he didn't seem like himself. It was, and of course, like while I was there, that was all the luster was starting to wear off. You know, it was more work than play.
Why did you not staying with this? What was the fallout?
The fallout was when we got into it with Suge Knight, and Suge Knight started disrespecting or putting us in bad positions, me and Tupac's crew. We all kind of hung different. Like you had the different crews. You had DJ Quick and his crew. You had the Dog Pound. Nate Dogg kind of hung by himself. Dr. Dre, they had just banned him and abolished him. And you had the Dog Pound and Snoop Dogg, and you know all these different factions. Well, Tupac was me, Tupac, and the Outlaws with Bo Nitty and Syke. We all kind of hung together, and it almost seemed like what I didn't know at the time was they were trying to force a wedge. They didn't want someone like me around Tupac. They didn't want Mo, his brother, around Tupac. They didn't want outsiders around Tupac, and they were pushing us away. And we would tell Tupac this shit, and his response was, basically it was him justifying their actions over ours. It was like almost like where if it was anybody else, he would raise hell because he was a great spokesman. You know, he was like, motherfuckers, you know. But when it came to Suge, he just rolled with the punches and came up with some bullshit. Like like if you know Tupac, you know when he's telling you something straight that's bigger than life and real, or you know if he's leading you a line of bullshit. He didn't have our back. And I'm like, you know what? The stakes are too high. It's getting too high. It's not fun. I'm not having fun. They're not paying me when they're supposed to. They're trying to pay us with gifts and shit, not cash. And This isn't what I thought it would be.
This is a Jmix exclusive.
What up, shut up?